for them, So that would be a good idea for the kids.
That would be nice. That would be good.
Why you say that?
Because the kid children them suffer because the taxi man them take 150 and then treat them bad. When them now have them 150 or 200 sometimes.
Yes, I feel good because at least the kids will save going home and going to school. Because the taxi money man who said just take with the
Well, that would be good because my daughter would have to leave out not so early in the morning because she would have to leave out 5:30 to get a bus to go to school.
What time does she leave out now?
If she would get a proper bus to school, she would leave out about maybe 6 or 6:15,
And what time does she get home in the evenings?
about 4:30. The school over.
Hello, JPU family. Welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered live stream. This evening, guys, I'm going to be talking with Minister of Transport, Minister Daryl Vaz. This is still a widely discussed topic. Jamaica is having a transformation in its education system where the students of rural Jamaica will be having school buses, not just a ride to school, but they will be having school buses. About 100 or 110 buses have been brought in so far, and they have been designated to each parish for that reason. You've just heard. How's the audio, guys? Okay, so you've just heard from some of the parents of rural Jamaica and how they feel about the new school buses. So I'm going to try to reach out to the minister now and see if we can get him for a few minutes. Just tell me in the chat if everybody can hear fine, and then we'll get started. Hold on just a second, guys. Yes, guys. So I feel like with all that we've heard so far over the past week and a half, and leading up to today, where these school buses are concerned, the controversy that the opposition is trying to raise, I think, is first of all, it was a matter of safety. So, first, you heard them saying that, the buses are old, the buses were retired in the US. Here's the minister calling back. Hold on, guys. Hello, Minister, you're live. Thank you for calling back.
No problem.
Yes. So you're live here with Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Welcome to the channel. Everybody's here waiting to hear hear what you have to say this evening. But I won't keep you long because I know that you're busy this evening. So welcome. I feel like you've already put the safety matter to rest where the school buses are concerned. And you've done very well with that, let me say. So with that, the next talking point now of the opposition minister is that the cost seem to be a problem for the opposition. They said that
All right, so
1.4 billion is
so let me clarify for you and for your viewers and your listeners. And let me start off by saying that the opposition's behavior towards this initiative, which is one of the most transformative policy initiatives since independence, is downright evil, wicked, and bad mind on steroids, and they must not be allowed to get away with it. Let me just go back in history. The GLP under Mike Henry tried to introduce a rural school bus system in 2011. We lost the election and Omar Davis locked it down. We had 230 buses that we were going to bring over 4 years with the first set of 65. And it was cancelled, the order for the 65, and it was scuttled on the basis that it was unsustainable and not affordable. In 2013, JUTC tried to do the same thing by putting 20 buses as a pilot for rural school bus, again scuttled and locked down by the PNP. So this will be the third attempt, and this one is not going to fail because the buses are going to roll out in September. What I can say to you very clearly and categorically is that they have gotten the backlash from the people of Jamaica. And now they are using their bloggers to spread mischief and propaganda because they can't open their mouth again. These are the facts. The 110 buses will arrive in Jamaica between now and the end of July. 26 are here and 14 are being cleared tomorrow. That puts us at 40. And the rest of them will come on weekly shipments from Miami over the next 3 weeks. So that is a done deal. The cost is $1.4 billion. The $1.4 billion covers the cost of the buses, the inland transport to get them to the ports in Miami, the freight, sea freight from Miami to Kingston, the retrofitting of the doors, and also the refurbishing. It also covers 1 year maintenance, which is going to be done under the strictest conditions, similar to what the Department of Transport stipulates for the states in the 52 states. So we're not moving away from that. It also is going to have the technology of a cashless system, fare collection system, and each bus is going to have 5 cameras. One for the driver, one to look at the kids, one for the geofencing, and all of those will be accessible by the schools. And last but not least, there's a duty component that we have to pay when the buses arrive here, which is factored in it as well. So here is where the mischief comes about, based on what they are posting and putting out there. The government of Jamaica only pays for the buses when the buses are arrived in Jamaica, landed and cleared.
okay.
That's when we pay for the buses. So right now, we have only paid or in the process of paying for the first 26 buses. So the invoice that is being circulated is for 26 buses out of 110. And what they are doing is dividing the 26 buses into the $1.4 billion because they are dunce, they are dark, and they are stupid.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Missy, there's something that circulated. I mean, I said, what is this?
Let me tell you something. I am so bitter against this type of behavior. And I know Jamaica and I know Jamaicans are upset. And I know that they're going to do the right thing, which is to reject them across the length and breadth of Jamaica for their wicked, evil comments. So getting back to the point now, because I don't want my emotions to take me off of the facts. right? They are using an invoice for 26 or 25 buses and divided it into $1.4 billion.
Right.
This minister is accessible, and the transport shadow minister, Michael Phillips, and the energy shadow minister, Philip Paulwell, send me queries regularly on portfolio responsibilities, information that they want about the GPS license, or they want to know about the taxes and the carriage or whatever. They have not sought to call me or request from me any clarifications on this. All they want to do is to create mischief and to continue their bad mind ways. And I am not going to allow it. This minister is here to serve the people of Jamaica, and I don't need to be involved in any form of corruption because I'm independent. So when they try and now say what they're trying to do, and let me tell your listeners and your viewers, is that they want to put a shroud of corruption over this because of the issue of corruption among politicians and governments. Not specific to this one, to all. There's a mistrust that has been developed over decades. This minister is transparent. This minister is accountable to the people of Jamaica. And more than ever, this minister don't have no luck. Because my name easy to call. So if you think that I'm going to make them get an opportunity to call my name, they don't know Daryl Vaz. Right? The issue of the inspection is done by state under terms and conditions stipulated by the Department of Transport of the United States government. All of the buses that are coming to Jamaica have the inspection certificate for 2025 that was done prior to us buying the buses. Therefore, the bottom line is I don't need, because those are specialized inspectors and conditions that are laid out by the Department of Transport. So it's 3 different inspections that are going to be done. One is by the Department of Transport criterias, which is done in all 52 states, either yearly or biannually. That means twice a year. The JUTC engineers went up there to inspect the buses themselves prior to us finalizing the purchase of them. And lastly, when they come to Jamaica, they have to now be inspected by the Island Traffic Authority in order to get a certificate of fitness. That's 3. So the inspection in Miami by the Trade Board appointed inspector, they do regular used cars and used vehicles. So they don't go to the extent of what is required by the U.S. Department of Transport, which are specialized inspections that go further than a regular inspection of just ordinary car because of the safety and the fact that these are specialized buses for school children. So it's a different level. So I don't need to go through that inspection, hence the reason why it was waived, because they would not be able to perform what was done in the states, the 52 states. So it's 3 different inspections. And it would have been 4, but the 4th one would have not gone to the extent of what is required for these specialized vehicles. So again, they are saying that one thing is saying that the buses have been decommissioned and are not fit and proper for the United States transport system, bus transport system. Rubbish. They have on the 25 inspection tags. And the reason why these buses come about is because there is a huge subsidy provided by the U.S. government of approximately $5 billion over the last few years to encourage the operators and manufacturers of these buses to change them out quicker rather than later and keep the fleet newer rather than older. So these buses have in a Cummins diesel engine that have a lifeline of 500,000 miles.
That's a lot.
And the fact of the matter is that the highest mileage on any of these buses, which average at 10 years old, is 160 or 170,000 miles. These buses will do 15,000 to 20,000 miles a year. So if you multiply that or divide that, we will have 10 years or 10 to 15 more years of life on the oldest bus, on the highest mileage bus. On top of which, the average age of the taxis in the public transportation system in Jamaica today is 14 years. Before I brought in the 230 buses into JUTC, the average fleet age was 14 years. And for the buses, the coaster buses, etc., that ply in the public transportation system, some of them are 18 years old. So when you talk about old bus, when you equate it to what exists in Jamaica now, they are the newest buses because they are averaging 10 years old. Plus, they were used in the United States to transport children morning and evening under the most rigid maintenance schedule. So that alone makes the buses that much more maintained, and chances of them giving trouble are much less because of the rigid maintenance schedule. So once again, I am ready for them. Anything that they come with, I will rebut because I have the information, I have the facts, and I used to be in the car business prior to politics. So I know the automobile industry.
Okay.
These buses have been used in the United States school bus system from 1937. From when I was a child watching video on TV, and you watch movie, you see the yellow buses. If you go to the United States, you don't pass 2 miles before you see them in the morning and evening because they are all over transporting children. So again, my plea is that the Jamaican people in the diaspora, in Jamaica, anywhere they are, understand what is being done. And it is politics at the expense of the rural school children and their parents who have been suffering for decades, and they are finally going to get some relief. And this is the response of the wicked, evil Peter Bunting, Michael Phillips, Mark Rowling, Dayton Campbell, Damian Crawford. Some of them are rural MPs who should know more than anybody else what the parents and students go through. Some of them were rural MPs who are now trying to return as rural MPs because they were rejected. My call, reject them out of hand. Reject them out of hand. They are the wickedest, most evil, most disgusting set of people I've ever come across. When you start to play with people's children and livelihood and wish that bus kill off Picnic, which I'm accused the government of, and its old bus, I can categorically state the reason why they're saying that is because none of them ever take a rural school bus or a taxi to go to school in their day.
Yeah.
Right? Them used to have driver. I went to school with Mark Rowling. I went to school with Peter Bunting. So I know.
You went to Campion too?
I went to Campion too. And I was just a year below. And I can tell you something. The only reason why I know is because I stay close to my people. Because I was also privileged. And I also had my mother, our father, our driver, take me to school in the morning. But that makes me no less passionate. Right? And they are a sick set of people.
When you guys were in school, were they nicer than they are today?
You know the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter, when it comes to politics, I am not one of those who get personal. I stay, because I've been the subject of so many nasty rumors and innuendos, etc. But I know why, because of my strength, right? Of how I operate and how I connect with people, etc. So I know that I'm a target. And I know that I'm their worst nightmare. Right now, every PNP in Jamaica dream about me, I have nightmares about me every night because of this initiative that I have put forward, which they knew was going to have a political impact. And instead of embracing it and saying, we'll endorse this and we are committed to doing better if you vote us in. No, I don't want that.
But
I want to
Minister,
go with the nastiness.
let me just make you aware too. Of the 14 members of parliament on the opposition side, only 14%, which is 2 of them, who are speaking publicly against the school bus program. 86% of the parliamentarians on the opposition benches, they agree with what is going on. That's why you don't see many PNP MPs coming out and saying the things that they are saying. But when you are going around the country, I'm sure that people are, talking and you are hearing them.
Let me tell you something. I went this morning, and I'm still in Manchester as we speak. I went to the Municipal Corporation this morning for a meeting with JUTC because I intend to expand the JUTC route from Spanish Town to Mandeville based on the new highway. So we had a long meeting there, and that was very successful. And then I left and went up to the new candidate in Northeast Manchester, Audrey Marks, and I spent the rest of the day with her. I went to the Transportation Centre to make sure that some improvements that I had committed to are going to be done. And then I took off my government hat and went into the fields with Audrey Marks. And I spent about maybe 4 or 5 hours driving and stopping through the constituency. And everywhere I went, it was only one thing and one thing only that the people were speaking to me about. And that was a rural school bus. And whether or not it was going to serve their areas, etc. Nothing, zero else. No water, no light, no rural electrification, no road. Even some of the roads that were on that were in deplorable condition. That was not the cry. The cry was, don't ease up, Minister. We need the school bus them. Don't ease up. Burn out the bad mind them. And it was coming from all across, not only JLP that came out in their green and them armband and them green cloth. Ordinary citizens, I don't even know whether they are Labourite or PNP or no P, but it was right across. And I expect it to continue because I know the fallout that the PNP is feeling now. Because it is, people are so incensed. They are so disgusted. And now they're trying to talk now about price and this and that. Look here, I have every single document. I managed this thing myself to make sure that there was no gray areas and I ticked all the boxes. Easiest thing is to do is to buy the buses. The hardest thing now is the implementation to make sure that they work and function and are maintained to be able to serve the rural communities come September morning onwards.
Okay.
The fare of $50 per trip is a subsidized fare because right now it is costing $300 to $600 per student per day. And some parents have to decide between the 4 picnic them have, which one look the brightest, and put all of their money and invest in that one, and the other 3 lose the opportunity to get a good education because of affordability. So now, at $100 a day, Miss Matty can send her 4 picnics to school for $400 a day rather than the $300 to $600. And that is what is burning them. But you listen to me good and proper. I'm going to give them bus under bus under bus under bus. I'm going to give them JUTC bus. I'm going to give them school bus. If you see them out of Bellevue, and you see them out there, and all you hear them say is bus, bus, bus. You know, so the bus mad them. Because they are well on the way to Bellevue.
Oh my
They are a
goodness.
sick set of people.
So you think this is going to cost them politically?
It is going to cost them. Let me tell you something. I have a saying that you would have heard me say before. Tom drunk, but Tom not fool. Never you ever underestimate the people of Jamaica. They may not have the educational background by getting them diploma and getting them certificate and going to university and going to high school, they are not stupid. They know how to assess, and they have something called common sense, which is not common. Only a few of us have common sense. The rest of us have diplomas and big degrees. I don't have none, you know. I have zero. So the only thing I have is common sense, and that is what drives me to do what I do and do it well.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you and your listeners and your viewers, this is a defining moment. If people of Jamaica choose the opposition in the upcoming election, I state categorically that they are going to lock down the school bus system as it stands now in terms of the importation of the school buses. My commitment, and by the way, I don't even want to mention the 20,000 families, the $2,500 a week, because it's the same $1.4 billion, and it does nothing to improve the transportation methodology for the students, because they're going to be using the same taxes that you have seen the statistics in terms of the police that we outlined yesterday at the press conference of the amount of children, rural school children that have been killed in accidents and 700 and odd injured over the last 3 years.
Wow.
Right? And all that is going to do is put $1.4 billion in the system that has no transparency, no accountability, and you won't even know whether or not the children get to school, don't get to school, nothing at all.
That's the question I was going to ask you next, is that there are parents on here, I'm sure, from rural Jamaica. Can you talk to them about how, the drivers of these buses will be, selected, for one, and number two, as far as accountability, the kids getting to where they need to be on time, and things like that. Because I hear some principals even saying, boy, the pitney them come to school late and can't get in a bus. So how does that system work?
All right, so two things. Let's start with the first one. The JUTC has been advertising in each parish to get drivers that reside in the parishes that the buses are going to be allocated to.
Okay.
And that's for logistics purposes. The drivers will be trained by the JUTC. And most importantly, no driver will get to the point of where they are being trained without a full background check and a police record. Secondly, a camera will be focused on the driver in the driver's seat to monitor his activities. Thirdly, the bus will be geofenced, meaning if it comes off of the specified route, it will be notified. Fourthly, there's a cashless system for fare collection, which the parents can top up just like when you top up your phone. But most importantly, the child will be required to swipe the card on entry and on exit of the bus. And the parents will have an app that they will be able to know when their children board the bus and when the child leaves the bus. Also, the school will also have access to that. So they'll be able also to monitor the children. The school laws, regulations, the buses are guided by that. The buses are an extension of the school. So whatever the rules and regulations are for the school is for the bus. We will have wardens on the bus to make sure. We will have, in some cases, I suspect teachers who live in the communities that the buses are applying. We won't object to them getting the bus to school because they'll help to keep the discipline, etc.
Okay.
But most importantly, we will make sure that the school, and this is something the Ministry of Education is doing right now, to look at the routes and look at the time of school, to see whether or not there's any tweaking that needs to take place, because the buses are going to do probably 2 round trips every morning. Plus, they have to do in the day for shift schools, and of course in the evening to get them back. So the 8 o'clock in the morning may be tight because you don't want the kids out there too early, especially in the darkness, etc., etc. So we have to time it where it is reasonable and function depending on the time and the distance to get to school from for the particular route. So all of these things, we're working through the Ministry of Education and going through with as detailed as possible to make sure that when we launch in September, there'll be teething pains. And nothing that you start new is not going to have teething pains as well as you plan it out. But guess what? Fact of the matter is, this is a holistic approach. This is not just a buy the bus, man, whatever happen. We're going through from the purchase of the bus straight through to the end game, which is to get the children there safe, cost effective, on time, and get them back home.
Okay.
We guarantee as government that phase 1 will cover 258 schools and approximately 180,000 students would have access. All of them obviously won't take it, not necessarily, depending on proximity, etc. And there is 653 schools in rural Jamaica. My commitment on behalf of my government is that we will roll out over the next 2 years to satisfy all schools in rural Jamaica with the buses that are required. These 100 buses here, so far, the 100 routes have gone to 122 routes. And it's still being tweaked as we speak based on consultations that's taking place. But it is estimated that a minimum of 28,000 students will utilize this service every day.
Wow.
And the question about whether or not this is going to cause a rift between the public transport operators. I said yesterday, and I'll say here again, you have not heard one taxi association or one taxi driver in the public transportation system hit out against this system. You know why? Because as it stands now, their license requires them to take the children at a reduced rate. So they are not getting full fare, and therefore the children are not priority when they should be priority. And that is why the cry of no schoolers is a cry around rural Jamaica every morning and every evening, because they want to take the higher paying passenger so that their business will be more viable, which I have no problem with at all, because obviously. So me taking off 28,000 kids every morning off of them allows them to be able to concentrate more on the full paid passengers and not subject the students to the abuse of putting them hanging through windows in the back of the taxis with the tail up and their legs outside exposed, with sitting on young females sitting on males' lap, right? Being terrorized by rogue taxi operators for sexual favors, etc., etc., etc. Look here, you have to be a rural student and a rural parent to understand and hear some of the horror stories that take place with these young innocent children on a daily basis because of the fact that they are disadvantaged because they are not priority. I am going to make them priority. Way overdue, long in coming, but I'm only Minister of Transport since May 2023.
I was just going to ask you.
What I'm doing, I've done in 2 years.
Yeah,
I brought 230 new buses into JUTC, and I brought the first 110. By the way, it's 110, not 100. The 10 additional are not going into the system. They are contingency, located all around the island. In the event that a bus goes down for whatever reason, we have a replacement bus.
Okay. So when did you decide that you were going to use these yellow school buses for the students? Was it just 2 years ago?
When I became minister in 2023, I made a commitment for a rural transportation school system. We explored several different templates. All of them were unaffordable to the government. It cost from 8 billion to 20 billion, because what we had originally thought is that we could pay full fare, subsidize the fare, and pay the full fare so that the students wouldn't be at a disadvantage, and we use dedicated buses in the transport sector to do it. It was unaffordable.
Okay.
We tried another one, unaffordable. So this was a last resort because I realized that this is a national emergency. I realized that we can't go to another September with the situation with the children being killed on the roads and the abuse and the accidents and the injuries. So I decided to look and see which school system, bus system, that was closest to Jamaica, that was the most workable one. And that was North America, because it is considered the gold star of school bus transportation across the globe. It's been in effect from 1937, and they have it right. Bottom line is, it's not ideal for Jamaica because of the left-hand drive.
Yeah.
And the door on the wrong side, but we're retrofitting that. These buses have a governor on them, so they can't go past a certain speed. And we are going to monitor the buses real time to make sure that the children are safe and secure, and they're getting to school in the mindset to learn. Because when they get to school now, it is very difficult for them to learn because they are traumatized by virtue of the circumstances on which they had to subject themselves to get to school.
I didn't know it was that bad.
It is absolutely, let me tell you something. There are some rural school kids that wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. They don't get back home until 8, 9 o'clock at night by virtue of the fact that they can't get transportation. And they're expected to do their homework, do whatever, go to bed, get a good night's sleep, and wake up back again at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's not feasible.
It's not only feasible, it doesn't all go well for the future of Jamaica.
That's true.
Because guess what? You're not producing literate children to be able to aspire to become leaders in the business sector, in corporate Jamaica, in governance, overseas, in professions, doctors, lawyers, whatever. So we are losing a lot of potential within our children because we are not providing them with the proper basic services for them to excel. We spend $8 billion a year on school feeding program. That's what the government spends. And I'm spending $1.4 billion on a transportation system, because guess what? You could give them breakfast, lunch, and dinner if they are not in the right frame of mind to learn, that they can concentrate, that they are not distracted, that they're not traumatized. You're not getting their full attention, and they're not grasping and getting the full educational learning that is being taught to them. And that's what makes me so sick in relation to the response of the opposition. I'm going to close by telling you that if I have to lead this charge on my own, I'm going to do it. Because it means that much to me as a rural MP. Forget about minister now. It's only coincidental that I'm Minister of Transport and a rural MP. Yes? And all I want is the support of the Jamaican people, wherever they are in the world, to make sure that the PNP pays for this. In politics, there are some things that you can't apologize for. Some things you can't backtrack on because they are fundamental. And this is one of them. So no matter how much excuse you hear them and this, that is only political trying to salvage political capital. But a spoken word can never be withdrawn. And that's why you must think before you speak. And they have doubled down, triple down, quadruple down. Right? Bunting said he would never. Bunting is a candidate in South Manchester after being an MP in Central Manchester and losing one time after winning 3 times. Forsake the people and have the nerve to go next door in South Manchester because he believes it's a political safer seat. Well, I'm telling you something. The people of South Manchester must reject him out of hand. Firstly, for leaving Central Manchester, which means he has no commitment to nothing. And secondly, for his utterances about these school buses that the government bring in, is to kill off Pick me. Yes?
Yeah.
He will go to his grave with that. And God will judge him accordingly.
Wow.
So, my gloves are off. I say to the opposition, bring it on. But hop off of my bus. Hop off of the pick me them bus with your bad mind, wicked, evil ways. I'm happy to be on your program. I've always heard about it. First time I'm on, but it's a bright time. Nothing happens before it's time. And I wish you all the success and continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you, and thank you for
And
stopping by.
that is to expose, whether it is my government or the opposition or vice versa.
Yes, ma'am.
Expose and make sure that whatever is good and right for Jamaica is what you propose and what you defend
That's
on your
right.
program.
Thank you so much.
Right? And I know one thing for sure. You're not wicked, you're not evil, and you're not bad mind.
Thank
So
you.
God will continue to bless you.
Yes, I'm up on the right side. Thank you.
Good night to all of your listeners and your viewers, and you can depend on me.
All right. We'll be following and we certainly support anything that is good for the country.
Anytime you see them come with the mischief and the misinformation, you just reach out to me and I will come and I will deal with them because my gloves are off. So if that's what they want, let's go. I'm ready.
All right.
Right?
They might hear you.
Burn them out. Bad mind can never prosper, my people. Never. Because God don't sleep him when he put on him pajamas. He's watching everything. Deal with them when the right time comes.
Thank you. And have a good night. All right, guys. So that was the Minister of Transport, Daryl Vaz. You know, the opposition, me really and truly disappointed. I mean, we're not really surprised by most things, but what the PNP come with, their response to this rural school bus program it's horrible. I don't know anybody right now, whether JLP or PNP. Me I talk about sensible people. Me don't know nobody right now who aside with them. I want you guys to have a listen. For those of you who came late, have a listen to what some parents and rural adults are saying about the bus program. And now we get to hear from the most important people of all, the parents of rural Jamaica whose children will be riding these buses.
Based on me being a single parent, that would be perfect. Less bus fare. Because typically my son spends $600 for bus fare to and from school. So if we have a rural school bus system, that would be very great.
Be a good idea.
Why is that?
Because sometime in the morning when the students get here to go to school, sometimes the bus stop full up of adults and they may have a little difficulty getting on the bus because sometimes the adult them too them want to reach work in time. They may cut past the student them and gone on the bus and really don't really cares about them, you know. So that would be a good idea for the kids.
That would be nice. That would be good.
Why you say that?
Because the children them suffer because the taxi man them take $150 and then treat them bad. When them now have them $150 or $200 sometimes.
Yes, I feel good because at least the kids will save going home and going to school. Because the taxi money man who say just take with the
Well, that would be good because my daughter would have to leave out not so early in the morning because she would have to leave out 5:30 to get a bus to go to school.
What time does she leave out now?
If she would get a proper bus to school, she would leave out about maybe 6 or 6:15,
And what time does she get home in the evenings?
about 4:30. The school over by 3.
Yes, so I just want to thank the minister for taking the time to stop by. I didn't know he would stay this long because they're on the road campaigning and doing their thing. Because we know the election is upon us. So he stayed a while to explain everything. And I hope that anybody who had any concerns, I'm sorry I couldn't ask every single question in the chat. I've been reading them. But I think he pretty much explained the issue of safety and the issue of cost. This evening, I talked to somebody. I said, what is this thing going around about $1.4 billion? And people are implying that the 1.4 billion, this guy, for example, the one where them take out and put in Isaac Buchanan down at Portland, he was saying that he supports the rural bus program, but he made the argument that he could have gotten 100 new Costa buses, 100 buses for $1.4 billion. Can you see the invoice that's going around? So he may have been speaking based on that disinformation, right? As a parent, my daughter's been riding these buses since the 9th grade, and this is her last year of high school. I've had no issues. I never get a call say, no problem. We have an app. If the bus is gonna be late, then we know. And if there's any issue, I drive her. So these buses, hear about them getting into any problems. You understand? So as I said, remember over here in our ask, say, if the minister could have come out and give a profile of these buses, when me hear Bunting saying that the bus them are gonna kill off the people, them I say, what kind of people them here? Because when you're saying these things to people who may not be on social media or people who are not tuned in to the news cycle as it moves so fast, you're saying these things to these people, they might afraid to put them picnic on the bus, or they might just get scared, So I was saying, you know what? The government is gonna have to come out and give a profile of these buses. No, I forgot to ask the minister if he heard us say that, but it doesn't matter. He came out and gave the profile of these buses. Him bring the bus and him bring the engine and everything. No, from him do that. I don't hear nothing more from these people. So them go for a different talking point now, which is that the government overspend and them don't come with the right figures. And the minister told them, I'm sure that some of them are listening, that the cost was not just for the buses. It's a whole heap of other things. In addition, they have not paid for all the buses yet, 110 of them. So, tonight, we have separated the facts from the fiction. And that is what this channel is about. So, all of the running up and down, this not look good for the PNP. It better them never bother say nothing. Very sad situation. And yes, if you bumped into, boy, I don't even want to start. South Manchester people, I hope you all are over here. This is not good. More and more Jamaicans are coming out and speaking against the PNP for their reaction and how they've handled this school bus thing. And I've been watching and listening, and nobody, come side with them. The most die-hearted of PNP me hear, I say them support the school bus program, even if they're saying but, they're saying that they support the school bus program. But because they're hearing all these different foolishness coming from the opposition. I want to know, so me tell you already, said the PNP have a dunce culture where them are working right now. So the dunce set of people them will follow the PNP, they will come out come say, yeah, we support the bus program, but what? And then you hear them spouting all the stuff that they hear from the Golding and the Bunting. This is terrible. You cannot have a country that you're trying to build and trying to develop, and you have people that tear it down just because they're in opposition. Just because you're in opposition, means they must come out, come tear down everything, Whatever is good, you support it. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what patriotism is about. Now, moving on. Me have something to say to the Prime Minister of Barbados. I want to tell me if I'm wrong. Want to know how the CARICOM 49th conference took place, and me see the Prime Minister of Barbados one piece of dancing with the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And I said to myself, but Mia Motley is a staunch Michael Manley lover. And I dare to say the PNP as well. And I see she come Jamaica with it, and I never see she dance with Mark Golding and the rest of them like that. But she put on a piece of dancing with the Prime Minister. All a boom off the Prime Minister. Me I say, well, I'm going to see. Look here. I wonder if risers them go cuss her now. I wonder if risers them go cuss her now. It was a good meeting based on some of the images and reports that I've seen. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent, who was also in Jamaica recently campaigning with and for the PNP and Isaac Buchanan. Ralph. Them put Ralph on the front of Observer newspaper saying, oh, it go again. I think him said something like, look at Jamaica as an example. Let me see if I can find it. All of the allies, them, the Caribbean allies of the PNP, they're all now showing major support for the government of Jamaica and for Jamaica. They too realize that this PNP, nobody can identify and know what it is. Somebody sent the article to me, but I wasn't able to go read it or anything. I just saw the front page. I think, yes, he said, learn from Jamaica. He urged the Caribbean to emulate the use of advanced forensic scientific tools. And that's one of the things that the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, being the chairman, that's one of the things that he was promoting. And I think the theme for the meeting and the conference this year was about advanced technology. And we can see how it's being used in our police force, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about Jamaica. Jamaica is the boss of the region and the boss of the world too. We have one of the best cultural identity. And just the truth. So the people them will come now for come spread disinformation upon the country. And it's not a nice thing. Because despite all of that, Jamaica and its leadership, they're still surviving. And that's why over here, we have eyes can see what is right for the country. And as patriotic people, what we say over here, sir, we are choosing Jamaica. We don't have another choice. Me could have suppose look here, suppose I move go back to Jamaica and have one child now. Them have a school bus to ride pan, just like how my daughter now had a school bus to ride on from 9th grade. So that is development for me. And rest assured, what the minister said earlier about whether the PNP come into government, anyhow the PNP form the next government, he is right. They are going to mash down the school bus program. You hear how them speak about it? The old bus, them what them say are coming at the country. Them are going at the country already. Yes, so that is why I'm saying this would be a stupid idea to put these people in government. Let me just read some of the comments before I log out. You realize how Ratigan and Lonesome them fade out. Them all get ugly. You know, me not look on them, me not know. Crime had to go down. Andrew Holness did his thesis on gun culture. Everybody's talking about it. Me couldn't believe when me see Ralph on the front page of Observer say emulate Jamaica. And Ralph come at Jamaica where they come campaign for the opposition. That means that the government is doing something right. Allow me to tell people. I wish I could have put it on the screen and show you. As for Dayton Campbell, look here. Danny Lawrence said, no loser nah come beat no winner. So me get it as so me I tell you no. The member of parliament, Danny Lawrence, said no loser nah come beat no winner. One man called me today, this evening, and tell me, say, if you ever see the work what Mr. Lawrence down here I do, that the man tell me. Him say not say how Dayton Campbell can go parliament from this side. So that is what's going on. What a sad situation. I was shocked to see the comrades supporting the government. Yes. And it was a very good conference, guys. I remember saying, anything with Jamaica host, it a go nice. It a nice. And everybody just looks so relaxed, so attentive. And them are attentive because guess what? Jamaica could not have been in a better position to cheer CARICOM when we are making so many strides, not just on crime, but our economy is stable, I mean, everything is just on the right path for greatness. So when you are sitting in the seat of Andrew Holness, you're supposed to feel good if you can talk to people in this time. Because it's not a nice thing when you're head of state and your country have one bag of problem, You don't really give you no moral authority to go there and speak, with a certain confidence and certain conviction. So right now is a good time for Jamaica to be speaking to the region. And I'm telling you, everybody just looks so comfortable and so attentive. And, it was good. And you can tell, of course, by the way, that Prime Minister Barbados, she'll big up a Prime Minister, Yes, Jamaica, we're large. No, the ombudsman, the office of the ombudsman put out something this evening asking for the politicians and the leaders them to set an example, and that we all want to see a peaceful election, because when you hear some of the rhetoric coming from the political arena, and it don't sound good, and people are concerned. So I was glad to see that today, to remind people that there is a code of conduct for those who are seeking office, and they have a responsibility to set an example. So that was good to see. The PNP today, as the CARICOM meeting wrapped up, the PNP today was campaigning down in Trelawney. Wanna look on this.
To heaven by thy grace we will see the glorious banner waving. See the glorious banner waving. Hear the trumpet blow. In our leader's name we triumph over every flow. Come on and hold the fort, for I am coming. Jesus signals still. Come on and wave the answer back to heaven by thy grace. We will. Fierce and long the battle rages. Fierce and long the battle rages. But our help is near. Onward come our great commander. Onward come our great commander. Cheer my comrades. Cheer my comrades. Cheer. Come on and for we are coming.
I actually like that song, but the comrades them not look motivated at all. Them look lost. But I mean, I know. I don't even, when I see the people in body language, that not, Chulani people, from the motorcade them start coming, my friend them at Chulani start send the video them come, and look pretty, look safe down there to me, but me no know, we will see. Boy, me no know. But nonetheless, make we get back to the school buses, them people. I am looking forward to September morning for see, what will happen. The most important thing is, you see the pitney them, you see from them feel comfortable and they feel optimistic and feel good for no say. Cause to be honest, me never know say I saw the situation did bad. I mean, when did it get to a point where people no want to carry school children? We know about the packing up in the vehicle them also. But then I want to carry school children. Me one woman say at 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, her child has to be out the door in advance to get to school on time. And the school is not even that far away. The child has to go out to make sure that they secure a drive to school. I said, no man. Situation deteriorate over time. And that's not good. What I want to say about the teachers, them want to ride on the bus, people. The teachers and the principal are whosoever want to ride on the bus, them. And big up to everybody who are top up the super chat tonight. Big up yourself, Dirty Cup and the others, including our members over here. The teachers and the principal, them might want to ride on the bus them. At first, me da say, well, me not really know about it. But then again, when me hear the minister explain that they could monitor the kids on the buses, because of course with the driver concentrating on driving, you have, some kids might step out of line, and you can't ask the driver for a drive and a watch a picnic them same time. Although most kids are gonna behave themselves still. But I think it's not a bad idea to have the teachers them on the bus. Them can really monitor and look out, and the picnic them now go they'll be less Lord Jesus, me I lose my chain of thought. The phone a ring. The children them will be less likely to act out when they know that there is an adult with them watching them on the bus, plus the camera them. So it's a good idea. Anyway, guys, thank you for stopping by. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel if it's your first time. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up and you are sharing the content with your friends. And we will talk again on Friday. For the people who have been sending messages also, I'll get to the messages tomorrow. I haven't really checked much messages over the last few days. So my apology, but I certainly will sit down and go through them as soon as I get a chance. Thank you for joining, guys. We'll catch up.
Jamaica politics and cover. Pick up yourself because you don't know you will discover. Lord of mercy. Hey. Some say that them a diety. And them a suffer to hell no rotted. Them a say that them a diety. And them a suffer to hell no rotted.